Okay, truth bullets. Who was known, they were however dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time, with a knife, which went clear through the body. This was burnt the upper half of the body beyond recognition. The upper half of the body rained on fire and had to be extinguished. Because of this, the upper half was soaking wet while the bottom half remained dry. Long fake nails. Tattoo on the right hand. Dog. That's Fenrir. Seems familiar. It should be that the bones which were removed from Monokuma, the gem had disappeared. That's per the bomb. It's so rusted. It's so rusted though. Programmed to come on every morning at 7:30. This time is impossible to change. I thought she was in the body even in the garden before 7:30. It would have, if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, it would have gotten wet. When it was found, 7 a.m. Makoto wakes in the morning announcement. 7:30, Makoto and Oyoi arrive in the dining hall. 7:39, Makoto meets the other gym, and they head to the headmaster's room. At 8 a.m., Toko is told to find the pickaxe scar, which discovers the body. Knife that was used to stab before the explosion, same knife that Toko had given to Makoto for safekeeping. The knife the masked assailant was holding when they attacked Makoto. Tarp. This is filthy with one grind, notice it's clean dry. Decreased. What the hell does he use to do with chickens though? It's so strange. No corpse. This take place before that. I said that he, Yasuhiro, Toko, and Aoi were in the gym the entire night, and none of them were alone at any point. Corpse had a mask, a white jacket, it had a knife in the abdomen, bloodstains around the wound. I stopped bleeding, but it was still wet. So I heard that there's no blood on the ground near the body. Ukesaba, Fenrir tattoo on her hand, Monokuma's account. As for the using Hyokuro's gloves to hide something she doesn't want anyone to see. Woodblock key. Titanium arrows. 10 in total. What is the duct tape? Duct tape traces of blood as soon as this is related to case, but nobody can imagine how. He has spent a secret to which grants access to any room in the school's second floor. Skills. I can get one more set of skills. Oh, I don't have many. I guess only one. I want to look at something else. No. Transcript. No? Damn, I want to look at the, well, I think that's all I can do.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. Then I'll punish everyone beside. Okay, well.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
Dumbass, she's with us.
Kyoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost!
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
Stop talking.
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Okay. So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
Let's prove that. Kyoko's, I don't know.
I got it!
Gloves.
I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
In that
Piercing
case,
glare.
I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh, you know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
If I can prove why, I can be stuck here in the case going forward. No choice but to. Make your argument. Tet's exploded body analysis. Fake nails.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
It's dumb.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
Oh, great. This is tough. Why isn't Kyoko's? Now I can prove it. Isn't
That
Kyoko's?
Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Tet?
Impossible.
I don't know which one.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
Oh boy.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
I don't know.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is
Damn it.
absolutely Kyoko.
I don't know. This is really
This
confusing.
entire discussion is idiotic.
Big nails with a body analysis. And I don't know.
That
I at least want to look at something else. Concentration. Space control.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up.
Then she was wearing gloves before the
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
Damn it, I didn't know. I am really confused because it's such a weird question for me.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Fake nail.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
I don't. Wait, maybe the fake.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing
This
gloves.
one? Okay.
No, that's wrong.
I forgot. If she was wearing gloves, why does she have fake nails?
No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails. Don't you think?
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
This type of situation is
Which should have been
dumb.
obvious since she's standing right here.
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Can we just have Kira wait outside? Starts in there. Okay, hopefully it's a little bit easier. These are really weird.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
Was on the oh. Was on the victim.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to... I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition.
Damn it! Really?
Shoot!
I'm very.
If Kyoko really is still...
Then who died? There's gotta be some... I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
No, that's wrong.
I'm sorry, this case is already confusing enough.
There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
What? For real? If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual
And he's
death.
at the face like, well, there's at least a hand that could be considered.
Cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog? Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
Seriously? You really did something that humiliating?
No, he did
No,
not.
that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
The image that represents Fenrir is a wolf. Really? Okay. No. Oh, good. Damn it.
Now I understand.
It's a wolf.
The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo. Then that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf, which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
What?
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right.
Or you're lying.
Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
She ain't the mastermind, though. Doesn't
Are
make
you
sense.
saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a cool-ass trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
If so, why is Monokuma still around?
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
Then who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time? And when she finally turns up, she gets killed. Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character? Which would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along.
Nope. There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Again, Hero, time out.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Technically, it's between Makoto
did it?
and
Who's the
Kyoko,
killer?
unfortunately.
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
It's me and Kyoko.
I got it! You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The four of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time, we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis...
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
Exactly so.
Damn it, can't listen. So I have to declare my name.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
9.
got
She
it!
even said she was 9 o'clock.
The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
December 9, 9 dot.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
Okay, now I have an alibi from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. So, looks like the game has begun. Can't prove an alibi for that period. I just have to prove the murder didn't happen during that time, but I don't have an alibi. I have to make clear that the body ended up in the garden. Sprinklers exploded. I think the sprinklers would have to be it.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
Oh.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the... Yep.
And Makoto...
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
What? Oh, is it 2 7:30? Oh, that's...
Shoot!
Then it has to be the other
We've
time.
established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock.
No, that's wrong!
Because it's go off at some...
Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
From the bucket.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words!
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Man, you're totally wacko.
You realize there's 5 trials in?
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you'd better tell us why!
Oh good, this part again. Toko again.
I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! How can you say
This should prove it.
Oh, because I splashed her with water. You forget about that.
Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
so they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac! I'm so sick of her.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
Yeah,
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
which would mean that Makoto's killer is... No, I refuse to believe it. You're someone that's...
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial. Something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation
Wow.
is still
You
insufficient.
suck!
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, But that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
Wow.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
Where's that tarp?
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Oh, because
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Wow. Why'd you want to make me look like the killer? Look at that right now. That tarp. As Kyoko said, doesn't touch the body, right? But the body.
Wait. Something's not right.
And what might that be?
It doesn't hear anything of the killer. Kyoko said. Fragments near the body. Okay, this is gonna be weird.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless,
Wait,
right?
I'm controlling Makoto too.
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
But the body had dried yet. Yakimaru's not touched it, so avoiding any blood loss.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
Oh.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler
I'm
got
trying to
that
think
side
about this.
wet.
This is weird.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
I don't know. Body hadn't dried yet. Where's the touch? I like the fragment. I don't think it's any of these that I have right
By
now.
covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
Body before the explosion?
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on
I don't
one
know. I'm trying
side
to think of it.
is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body,
Maybe protected from the water?
of course it didn't get dirty.
No.
Shoot!
I don't know. This one's really confusing.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the... Of course it didn't get dirty!
I don't know. This is very confusing.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got...
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless.
It's because that side was protected from the water.
No?
Shoot!
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler...
But the underside of the it was totally spotless.
It's because that side was protected from... Since it was facing down toward the bottom, of course it didn't get dirty!
No? I don't know. This one's
Shoot!
Very confusing.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side...
No, not that one.
Shoot!
This is a very confusing
By
question.
covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting...
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on... is because the sprinkler got that side...
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
No, not that one either. Sorry, I really don't understand this one.
Shoot!
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty is because the sprinkler...
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless.
Don't
It's because
know.
that side was protected from the... Since it was facing down toward... Of course it didn't get dirty!
That one?
No, that's wrong.
That is too confusing. I really did not understand that one at all.
Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh! Yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
Camouflage?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Which means they kill a chicken. The poor chicken. They kill the chicken. Did they kill a chicken?
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
That is random ass, these chickens.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
Wow.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so.
Well, it looks backwards.
Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
they already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
This is
Maybe.
a lot of
But
confusing
still.
things to hear about.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
This is like me again. But why? You're trying to entrap me. I don't understand. Disguised dead body.
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
One we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back.
That doesn't look all the way front to back. It's the
So,
longest
what
knife.
about
so.
it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
I want it anyway. What to do?
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah,
Then why did you hide that fact?
it's not that I hid it. It's just...
Couldn't be sure. It actually happened last night. I think I really did kill her.
Suspicious! Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
I should be able to make it clear. See, they didn't murder me. I'm not the killer. God. I already did terrible in the last one. Fragments, exploded body, disguised dead body. Great. I have no goddamn idea what to do now.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
The coat was put on the body after the tarp was removed, which means the knife was thrust through the coat into the body.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question.
You took that knife...
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
I don't know. Maybe should I just call it-
The knife we found
The
lodged
fragments
in the
don't
dead
do
body.
shit.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did
I'm
it.
sorry if I get it wrong. I
Just
just do
because I
not
had the
know.
knife once,
Can I look at anything else? No, of course not.
that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
No, that's wrong. Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her!
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
That just the body's done. Damn it!
Shoot!
Make this out twice. Oh, is it the Monokuma file?
I got it! The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that.
Then the knife.
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kind of goes back to the beginning, but what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion!
That's way too many big words for you.
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural, because of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect.
That really
you,
cleared up.
Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
I don't think killed the victim. Gun straight. Oh, more things. The Monokuma file.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
The hell is this?
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
wounds on her weren't fresh. Which only leaves...
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't because of the knife. Then there's only...
Oh yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
No, of course not. I'm wrong.
Shoot!
I don't know.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
I don't
The
know.
explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? Then there's only one other thing.
Oh yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
No, I guess that's wrong too. Well, I guess I'll restart it then. Yep. Well, I gotta try it again, because I was really confused. This one's really difficult. Yes.
I refuse to give up yet.
I kind of figured I'd fail this one, because this is a lot to try and take in.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't
Because then there's only one...
Oh yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet...
No, that's wrong. Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon?
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe!
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
That's so stupid.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
A murder weapon? What the hell are you talking about?
Shoot!
A murder? What the hell is talking about a murder weapon? Knife, tarp, chicken coop. What the hell is this to mean?
I got it!
The arrows? That doesn't make any sense.
Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And
That
that's
doesn't make
what
any
killed
sense.
her.
The arrows?
And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
How is this to make sense?
Arrow. That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds
kinda weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
One more thing about that weapon. One more secret.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
What if you use duct tape?
No, that's wrong.
I saw it there. I'm gonna use it then.
You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Were you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to. The death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb.
Wait a minute.
That key
He-
is just the final piece of the puzzle.
Byakuya has her key. How'd she even get in there?
Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just, there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
She's protecting. Does that mean she... Because the killer is there too. She knows being attacked. She came to my rescue. Could that be when... Does she mean that Kyoko... She killed someone for me?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
What? She's not better than anyone? What does that mean? He has her key. How the hell did she even get in the room if she didn't have the key either?
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Wait, Kyoko room Kiyake, right? Which should mean...
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room.
Oh wait,
correct?
now I...
But
Could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke.
exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that.
Byakuya,
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
But
No,
you
it's
had
wrong.
the key.
If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room
Huh? Why not?
because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room,
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
it would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
That's not exactly true. The clear contradiction what Kuroka just told us, an obvious lie. But this doesn't like her. Trying to save herself such a desperate lie is... Does she really feel that threatened? Because she's the killer? Or it's something else? So deep for me heeding what Kuroka said earlier. And I hear this to the school stay hidden forever. So I can't let that happen. The trap Mastermind's laid out for us. Mastermind's trying to trap Kyoko. But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I? Mastermind's trap? Victim is Mukuro and Kyoko killed her? What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie. No one who knows it's a lie. One who can expose it. But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? Mastermind's trap. Spend all your time trying to avoid danger and never move forward. You know the danger, but the risk means solving the mystery of no choice. Am I wrong? What do I do? Sit right here now with that to expose I don't know! Let it go. What the hell? I don't let it go. It was even Kyoko. No, I should kill someone. There must be some secret here. Has to do with the mastermind chat Kyoko mentioned.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room. That it was someone else.
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
What?
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead. And then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay?
Oh, no.
Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
Really? No, that sucked. I had no idea what else to do.
Now,
Choose a
who
button.
will be chosen as the... Hey, hold on! What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Is it gonna be Makoto? Oh, it's Makoto. Oh, name tag is dead. Time to end the series here. What? You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You got it all wrong. I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job.
Yep.
You're right. I don't know. I don't know that's not true. None of this makes sense. The whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey!
This makes perfect sense.
Shing!
Same as always, just like the other classrooms. Again, it does the same way.
Thrills! Chills! Kill!
It's like, wait, what? Why do I... Kyoko?
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Kyoko?
Let's give it everything we've got!
Punishment. Makoto has been found guilty. Punishment. Well, not expected this one. The hell is this? A garbage disposal? Being crushed to death. Yeah, that's the way Makoto wanted to go. After school lesson. Why is he turning pink? Oh, it's Chihiro. Okay.
What?
What's going on? What's that?
Uh,
It had to be alter
This
ego.
is...
There you go. Is this some stupid virus in that stupid guy? This plant when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell, I didn't believe this.
It would
Seems
seem...
you finally made a miscalculation. He was coming from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other
Thing is,
words...
you shouldn't have underestimated us. You talk like you already won. Really fun thing is a pinch, an itch. Stupid virus can... Oh, so is Makoto. You didn't get to smash the button, you're never gonna see him again. Where's the garbage dump pit? Fine. In a way, that's even better special punishment. So no, I was not satisfied. I was still bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire world. Is he gone? Kyoko, what's the meaning of all this? What the hell's going on?
Calm down.
Okay, we're not the ones being trapped this time.
In other words...
It's mastermind that's ensnared.
What
What are
did
you
you
talking
say?
So...
Understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. As the high school tower is over the others buildings in the bustling urban area. Like the school stands at the center of the entire world. Hope's Peak Academy brings in top students for every field imaginable. Government-funded school privilege. Wait. I think I've seen this before, Hope. Wait, why am I seeing this again? What? Where am I? I'm with the head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. I felt heavy. I heard a zonk off in the middle. Some boring class or whatever, but what's I doing asleep here just now? It wasn't any class I've been before. What the heck is going on? Finally! I feel my body started coming and then I was awake. What the hell is this? It's just another dream. Is it a dream? I guess it's essentially my not too perfect dream. What an awful smell. Vast dark hair, the barest hint of light seeping in. Trash is piled high all across the area. Kind of underground garbage pit. Heck of a situation to find myself in. But that's just the beginning of my problems. He's stuck in here till I wasted away and died. I can't let that happen. My good friend went through to save me. I read all too well what happened. Darko saved me, and used the last bit of his strength to do it. He can give up now, so and for my friend, that my pursuit of Sayo began. Let's start looking way out of here. Bunch of rubble. An airplane. There's your desk. And that's a Monokuma thing. Rocket in a tank. Oh, from the beginning. It's locked. Everything's push or pulled or kicked. It all didn't budge. Here's gonna be that easy. Not get out of here time soon. Take a look around for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. No, it's pointless too. Search for some water. Okay, be sure it's like a drink, which one's an all-around bad idea. Again, pointless. Like I'm blocked in on all sides. It's not much reason to give up because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never grow up. Making that proud declaration, next thing I'd say do was go to sleep. Sleep was deep and uninterrupted. As my way to preserve what little strength they had left after not being able to eat or drink. Full day to pass, now I'll just sleep and sleep. It's like waiting for some kind of sign to come fly out of the sky. However, the sky was a sign, not exactly. Crunch! Garbage! Dust went out of shape. Something fall down over there? I think it fell from above. Could have been. Giant piece of trash fell down here? I can always stretch my hand out toward whatever it was that tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
Giant piece of trash, rude. Wish she emerged from the pile of garbage, knew it was. She's got ramen in her head.
Smells awful.
Kyoko!
Indeed.
Look, you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here?
So...
I'm here to help you. Glad to hear that, Kyoko. Oh, you got a bit of garbage in your hair. Gave her head a quick sharp shake to get rid of the trash space again.
Hey.
First I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We'll talk once you're finished. Thank you. Snatches the bread and water she was holding out for me. The seconds as my mouth making its way toward my stomach. It really hit the spot. I think I need to keep going. I still haven't given up then. Of course not. After all, the fact that I'm keep going forward is about all I'm good at.
Hmm?
Not such a bad thing to be good at. But Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me?
So...
To atone. Atone?
You...
Didn't I, even though you knew I was lying? You didn't say anything. So you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
Even though I knew, I did nothing to help you.
I...
Abandoned you. Don't say that, you didn't abandon me. That's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You're trying to save me, I couldn't bring myself to the same for you.
However...
Listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but... the reason I had to survive. Why did you have to survive?
It's true.
So I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive.
In other words...
So I can do what I came to this school to do. What? And I've come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason. You have some reason coming to Hope's Peak?
Indeed.
Right, at least I did. Once. Once?
I...
At least I forgot what it was. I forgot, but that's... I don't remember what my purpose was. Amnesia? Then, Is it really true? You lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at the school? First thing. Talking about when we fainted, right? Fainted when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted when I woke up. I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back now, at that point, my memory was gone. The time I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember when I'd come to the school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would make you forget all that?
Hey,
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine what happened by chance. Seems much too convenient. So you think you lost your memory because...
indeed.
I think I'm positive it was a work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they do that? There's no reason they come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability, somehow they would interfere with the mastermind's plans. The mastermind just stole them from you.
However...
It could also mean somehow memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind. So I had to go get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. What you say is true. Why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is
If I
that?
did that, we all worked as one. The mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's a chance the mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Make it too big a deal. It's just a possibility. Since it is possible, you can't ignore it, right? Mastermind, one of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. Which doesn't make sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However...
Being said, there's a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? So you're right. You're least likely to be a mastermind. That was just intuition, but... see. This is right though. There's no way Norman McKinley could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
Listen.
Are you okay? Yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey,
You know, I still trust you, you know. It's just I'm not used to relying on others.
correct.
Never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. To think that's just your personality. Turn out, were you able to remember everything? I
So...
think there's still a lot I don't remember at the very least. So I need to recall my purpose and my ability. Mention your ability.
I...
Like, whatever I should have known before. I'm the ultimate detective. Ultimate detective?
Correct.
Reason I came to Host Academy. There's somebody I had to find here in the school. Find someone? Who?
So...
Well, it was a headmaster of Hope Seek Academy. Headmaster? Why do you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. I freaking knew it was our father. What?
In other words...
Said for him as a child. Turns out he became headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad is Hope's Peak headmaster? Then that explains what alter ego so he thought the headmaster was involved.
I...
Find a way. Whatever it takes, I'll find the headmaster.
No matter what,
No matter the cost.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on?
I...
I remember he hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. Makes her sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
However...
Listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear. There's no misunderstanding. I said the hazard wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that it was to protect him. That felt based on what I'd seen when I was stuck in the headmaster's room. What'd you see in there?
So...
There had been ransacked. Shelves were a mess, desk drawers dumped on the floor. And that concludes that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That's the assumption, yes, and it confirmed my suspicion. Excited, I see the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. Some kind of map?
Indeed.
The entirety of the Hope Seek Academy, found in the headmaster's room along with Mukuro's profile and that key. That shows the second floor is home to another murder room sent for faculty use. Since faculty must have had to stay overnight from time to time. Figured the headmaster would have had some kind of private room there. Since that the room would like a little more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So I went to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However...
Once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms had cameras. Like that part of the school, I mean. It's hard to describe. All I can say is, when I saw it, I realized what was going on in the school was more horrific than we ever imagined. What do you mean?
So...
Can't explain. You need to see it for yourself. I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. I think it's important. Really ominous.
However...
Let's get to the second floor dorms. What's going on? It has to do with Mukuro Saba's, wasn't it?
However...
To be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. I know it wasn't you either. Right, but that just means... you and me had an alibi, so then who did kill her?
Anyway...
The case for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. You know, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Kusaba was to get me killed. Get you killed.
Indeed.
It's so like he disappeared in retaliation. They wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was. Mastermind knew that they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulation?
That's right.
Exactly. Yep, afraid, explore.
In other words,
Mastermind's adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. They couldn't kill me themselves, they'd try to use the class trial to do it. Mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules? It makes it sound like Mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
One thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Kusaba. What's that? There's a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. Could have been... You? I could have become the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean... during the night?
I...
You can hear them, you know. Footsteps of the god of death. What the hell? What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. That's ability naturally draws me into cases just like this.
Anyway,
Exactly what happened with you. I was in dorms and I suddenly sent a dread and looked down the stairwell, and I saw a white shadow across the corridor. Gave chase right away. As soon as I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I ran to your room and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That was the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... where the master's out was, they ended up dead.
correct.
And the murder was disguised, and Dojo Key wound up in my room. So you work with a mastermind, attempt to use class trial to eliminate me. So this mean whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to kill you because they didn't interfere, right? Couldn't interfere.
Correct.
You're right, that is a contradiction. And it's just Mukuro. They need the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. I think it is a contradiction. So what does it all mean?
In other words,
The mastermind's the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more, I should be able to figure out who the mastermind's identity. The idea of the other ultimate despair. The other ultimate despair? And that Mukuro is the ultimate despair, and that she's dead. But I think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
Think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused the event. Talking about
That's right.
what happened a year ago, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy, whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate despair.
It would seem...
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then there
Indeed.
makes no mistake. Your Donald Elos forced us to go through this. That is ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. 100 Mile Dash, pain of a junk food junkie. Okay.